Dr. Samuel Radebe is the charismatic leader of Revelation Church, a spiritual home to an estimated 10 million worshippers in southern African countries, including Malawi and Mozambique. He founded the indigenous spiritual movement in 2009, and his support base quickly spread. His latest book makes a clear distinction between religion and spirituality according to the societies in which they are practiced.
It's about the confusion of spiritual matters. You would know that time to time, especially here in South Africa, there will be issues in churches. There will be issues. Now we were facing the river matter. There was a matter at the river. People drowned in the river. And whenever these things arise, you'd see a lot of confusion. People painting everybody with the same brush. And people speaking all conflicting issues pertaining spirituality. So the book was inspired so that we can bring clarity on spiritual matters. And also we were invited in some conference in Europe, although it was a religious conference. And you know how they termed African Indigenous Spirituality, it seemed as if it's something that does not exist. It's a myth.
African Indigenous Spirituality acknowledges that the Creator does not communicate with humans, but with spirit guides, also known as uZwi-Lezwe.
African Indigenous Spirituality is seen as something without any hierarchy, disorder. Anybody does whatever they dream or they see in visions. That's not the case. There is hierarchy in African Indigenous Spirituality. Now I speak from a research point of view. And that order is created by people who were called spiritual guiders. In the African context, we call IMboni. And you can go to look at many African countries, they had different names.
Regarded as a repository of all cultures and traditions, African Indigenous Spirituality claims that the spiritual realm is involved in the physical realm.
What makes it even important for someone like me is that Africa was destroyed through the destruction of her spirituality. Spirituality is very special. When you talk about the past, the present, and future, it is for convenience of minds which are micro minds. They can't comprehend issues very complex with long cycles. But in reality, this is why you find spiritual people understand our past, our history, and guide us.
It further acknowledges that through constant practice of art, culture, and meditation, it's possible to grow spiritually.
You know, sometimes as a musicians, sing abantu, abane crowd.
Sometimes we pull a lot of crowds and we have a lot of following. And if we are leaders and sometimes our leadership does not have a clear direction, that becomes a problem. What I'm trying to say is, having a spiritual guide, according to spirituality, is very important.
According to spirituality, is very important.
Other activities accompanying the book launch include an annual memorial lecture of uZwi-Lezwe's father, Dr. Steve Mzuvukile Radebe, a former lecturer of indigenous languages at UCT. Mlamli Maneli, SABC News, Cape Town.